Another Day, Another Story. The Psychology of Money is a book written by Morgan Housel that explores the psychology behind our relationship with money. The book is divided into 20 chapters, each discussing a different aspect of our behavior when it comes to money. Here is a brief summary of the book. Chapter 1. The Most Important Thing. Housel explains that the most important thing about money is not how much you have, but rather what you do with it. Chapter 2. Luck and Risk. Housel argues that luck plays a huge role in our financial success, and that we need to understand and accept that fact. Chapter 3. Never Enough. Housel discusses the concept of enough, and how difficult it can be for people to recognize when they have reached that point. Chapter 4. Confounding Compounding. Housel explains the power of compound interest and how it can work for or against us. Chapter 5. Getting Wealthy versus Staying Wealthy. Housel discusses the difference between getting wealthy and staying wealthy, and why the latter is much harder. Chapter 6. Tails. You win. Housel explains that the biggest financial gains often come from taking risks, but that these risks should be calculated and not reckless. Chapter 7. Freedom. Housel argues that financial freedom is not just about having enough money, but also about having the freedom to do what you want with your time. Chapter 8. Man in the Car Paradox. Housel discusses the paradox of how people who have more money than they need often become even more focused on making money. Chapter 9. Wealth is what you don't see. Housel explains that much of wealth is hidden, such as the money we save and invest. Chapter 10. Save Money. Housel discusses the importance of saving money, and how small savings can add up to big gains over time. Chapter 11. Reasonable, Rational. Housel argues that it is more important to be reasonable than rational when it comes to money, and that being too rational can lead to bad decisions. Chapter 12. Room for Error. Housel explains that it is important to leave room for error in financial planning, as unexpected things can always happen. Chapter 13. You'll Change. Housel discusses how our financial goals and priorities change over time, and why it is important to be flexible. Chapter 14. Nothing's Free. Housel explains that there is always a cost to everything, even if it is not immediately apparent. Chapter 15. You and Me. Housel argues that our financial decisions are often influenced by the people around us, and that it is important to be aware of that influence. Chapter 16. Humility. Housel discusses the importance of humility in financial decision-making, and why it is important to admit when we are wrong. Chapter 17. Keep It Simple. Housel argues that simple financial strategies are often the best, and that complexity can lead to confusion and bad decisions. Chapter 18. Surprise. Housel explains that unexpected events can often have a bigger impact on our finances than expected, and why it is important to be prepared. Chapter 19. Narrative Fallacy. Housel discusses the danger of creating narratives around financial events, and how this can lead to bad decisions. Chapter 20. Time and Money. Housel concludes by arguing that time is the most valuable resource we have, and that our financial decisions should reflect that fact. You must read this book to understand the psychological how money works. Please subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you. Thanks for watching.